The more I researched, the more I realized these games were made with the best intentions, but over time it slowly erodes into this weird, ucky feeling of disappointment. But it starts with a great idea. In 2012, the miHoYo was just a dream in Shanghai by 3 college students. And they wanted to focus on otaku culture, which is pretty cool, visual novels, and anime mobile games. Huh. So their first foray into this was Gun Girls in 2014. It was, you probably never heard of it here because it never was released here. But the one that everybody has heard in 2016 was Honkai Impact the Third. I think this is a game they love so much where we see semblance of this game in their other titles over and over again. So I really think this is like the basic building block of what miHoYo is right now. It had flair, depth, and visual storytelling, emotional storytelling. And it was a narrative and it earned fans' trust. Now, usually when that happens, the next thing a game developer or they try to scale it. And as soon as you try to scale these things, you will run into some issues. And one of the issues we're going to get into, but first we must introduce their most successful hit, Genshin Impact, because it launched right in the middle of one of the most trying times in the world, especially in China, COVID. It was free to play. It had all the buzzwords. Open world. It was emotional. It was very explorational. It looked good, and it had decent characters early on, like Venti and the dragon and that whole story with Mondstadt. It was decent. It wasn't too crazy, but it did earn a lot of headway here because it did come out at a great time, and also it was so different from what was being presented out into the marketplace right now. Because think about this, Zelda is kind of locked down by Nintendo. So let's say you're like me, just a regular red solo cup of a man, right? So you don't own a Switch. You don't even want to own a Switch. So your first like foray into this type of like how this looks may have been Okami. But after that, Honkai, I'm gonna call it Honkai Genshin Impact. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it, because it's like it's Honkai, but it's like set in this like alternate reality. So, but this was really like peak of what Genshin was. Like that 2020 miHoYo was on fire. Now, there was some warning signs. There was repetitive events that lets me know the game doesn't have much things lined up in the future to just kind of be like, wow, this is pretty amazing. I didn't expect this. It did have pacing issues with Inazuma and Sumeru. There was that anniversary backlash. Oh man, the backlashes are funny. I'm not gonna get into that. I'll let other people get into that. Players begin noticing the disconnect between the revenue and the player experience. So like you get I don't even know what you call this phenomenon, but as revenue goes up with games, what people expect from it actually goes up as well. So even though like when it started, Honkai was way up here and like way up here in both, like slowly over time, this has gotten even higher. The player expectation has gotten even higher as things went on, and this stayed the same. The player experience stayed the same. And some people might even think it did this, but that's up for debate. So, in their response to this, they decided to launch the game that's really up for debate right now. I actually made a quick video where I didn't think I actually did a good job kind of describing what's going on, so I took that thing down. But Honkai Star Rail launches, right? It was a turn-based RPG. It was early reactions was, I mean, you get the Genshin could never stuff, the production value, the unique characters, the structured pacing. It was actually like different. than Genshin in every way possible, that it allowed players to build a subculture inside the same company. miHoYo is the same company, but this actually built a subculture. Insane. But it did have some issues even after the initial Bellabog release. Even then, early as that, the story pacing kind of slows. Side characters get overdeveloped. Events feel disconnected or filler heavy, and monetization kind of creeps up. Like, there's too many banners. Listen, that time period between Seal and the General should have been a month. I'll be honest, because people should have just let the pacing between Honkai Star Rail banners should have been a month. The value of the characters and how strong they are. If you're gonna make the character the strongest thing in the game, at least give people a month to enjoy the super strong character that you have. They actually did better with it at the beginning because Seal was like a super strong character, but the General really wasn't. So it was like an easy skippable banner, and I really honestly think you need skippable banners in a pay to win game. That's just me. In 2024, trust kind of drops. Some collabs are mocked or even rejected, like One Punch Man. Lore contradictions start piling up, which, I mean, that kind of what happens when like you shift writers. The main story's tonal focus feels like fan service over substance, which, I mean, you're gonna run into that, especially when you're not the one like who originally created where this was supposed to go, because you do not want to run into a place where your story characters are running the story and you don't actually have a destination for them. A lot of censorship, and they didn't really care about player feedback too much, like this particular design team. They did some things only when the bottom line is effective. You really got to pay attention to that. Only when the bottom line is effective, where games that scale up like these big companies like miHoYo has basically become, due to the success of Genshin Impact in such a short time period, the little fan responses become less and less. It's like a big YouTube channel. The more they keep scaling, the less they're gonna read people's comments or care about them. It is what it is. And you know what? The soul starts to feel missing, man. Despite the game being super polished. Now, 2025 hasn't been like a super awesome year for Honkai Star Rail in particular, but hey, it is what it is. It has high production, but it's like the impact that it had like initially waned. The most recent story arcs have been empty a little bit, right, and criticized as an unfocused, padded, paint by the numbers type of thing. Well, this is affected by the fact that English voice actors haven't been really getting into it, and you gotta understand how they tell the stories at miHoYo. Like, there's not a lot of facial expressions, like, so it's hard. Like, you really have to rely on the writing to kind of tell a story here. They would have total black screens where cutscenes should be. It is what it is. They're trying to get this stuff out way too quick. People still play, but it's not the same anymore. So miHoYo, it started with a great vision. I really think so, and that's why it kind of fits in these streams of videos I've been doing. Then it scaled too fast. I think these games think like we have this success. These studios think they have this success, and they just scale super quickly, and they think that is the way for success. I think it's the way to get the most money as quick as possible, but not success over time. And I think it has become soulless, just like Bethesda and BioWare are bigger companies. Listen, y'all really think these Chinese companies are great now, but as they scale up, they'll get worse and worse and worse because they'll stop caring about what you guys think about the product. less and less and less. They just don't, it's like they don't care about the opinion of one person like those 3 college students back in the day did. They just don't care the same way because they're multi-billion-dollar CEOs and they're super successful. They have a bunch of money now. When you come into a lot of money, things that were important seem to be less important now. Same way with these companies. So, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've been enjoying the channel, and y'all have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one on the Gabe Koi channel.